Hello, guys. Today is November 19th. I'm super excited for today because I'm going to Dave Chappelle's show. I've never been to his show. I always wanted to. Now he's in Chicago, so let's go.
What's up, KT fam?
Yeah, there's like 11 KT right now. We're at Dave Chappelle's.
We're at Dave Chappelle. We're about to see one of the greatest comedians of all time live in Chicago. Holy, it's gonna be awesome.
Did you buy a ticket?
Did I buy a ticket?
Yeah.
No, I was hoping we'd find one on the ground.
Got it. Okay. That's what I thought.
So are you on to
So just went to Dave Chappelle concert yesterday, and I have to say that was one of the best comedy show I ever attended in my life. And it was not only Dave Chappelle, but Killer Mike was also there. He played a lot of music. It was entire concert for like 30 minutes, and that was epic. Okay, I have gone to a lot of other comedian show with like big name and where they had a Netflix show and then everything. But Dave Chappelle show was definitely at a different level. I really understand why he is really one of the top comedian in the United States. I think there's so many things that make him very distinct. Like one thing is like a lot of his joke is really based on his personal belief and opinion. So it's not like he's trying to make a joke, but he has his original belief or his perspective into something and he turned that into funny story. So whenever we're listening to his story, like it's well, I mean, it's funny, but at the same time, like we're genuinely interested in what he has to say about his political view, his own personal opinion about, like a big incident happening in real world. So it's funny, but at the same time, it makes me feel like I'm listening to just somebody's interesting opinion, right? And when those two components, like jokes and funny plus interesting opinion, kind of combines, it keeps you entertained for so long. Like whenever I go to like a big comedy show, it's fun, but at the same time, there's always a moment where I start to feeling a little bit bored or even sleepy sometimes because everyone has a rhythm, right? Every comedian have like certain tempo and rhythm of telling a joke and where they have punchline, etc. And it's really fun and exciting at first, but if you keep listening to same tempo of joke for like an hour, there's definitely a moment where you start to getting a little bit bored and where I start to feeling even, really sleepy. But Dave's show, no, there was no moment where I felt slightest bored. And that was, I think, mainly because the way he tells a joke, there's so much difference in tempo and how he include act out. Because for some story, he was just like simply telling it with no much of emotional expression. Then at the next moment, you see him doing the entire act out of nowhere. So um, that was honestly my first time ever watching somebody's show on live and didn't feel bored even a minute. Yeah, so that was astonishing and impressive, obviously, and amazing. And of course, he has like a lot of, very primitive joke, like dick joke, race joke, but it's they're so funny because I feel those primitive joke would blend in to storyline so well. No one could tell it's coming. Because I have heard so much dick joke, and also I also make a lot of dick joke myself. And whenever I hear all those like dick joke and those like a race joke and open mic or amateur comedian, they're not fun because it's too obvious it's coming, and those joke will never exceed something we could ever kind of imagine or have already said in the past. So, but when Dave included those angle into his storyline, it just make entire story 10 times funnier. And because the original storyline is so fun and entertaining already, when there's like a kind of random dick joke inserted, it just like sounded so fun. And also he did such a good job. And also I think the timing was perfect. It was right after election. And it was right after Mike Tyson and um, I forgot the other person's name, but there was a big match. And what else did he include? Oh, there was so many PDD's joke as well. So there was so many kind of very recent event that we're like kind of expected. we're a lot of audience were definitely expecting to have those topics, but it was a lot of references he included. It was on point. And what else was I impressed? Oh yeah, like the way he handled hecklers, um, crazy. I have seen a couple other comedian, even like at a very big show, like at the Chicago theater, some comedian get distracted, get pissed at the hecklers. How Dave reacted to heckler was just simply impressive. There was a moment where they was like telling, "Oh my god, there's like a lot of things that I cannot say anymore," and few heckler was like, say it," just like keep saying that like pretty annoyingly. Then Dave was like, "Oh, that like say it, what? You must be FBI. Say it, and you capture me." That's just brilliant in such a quick moment. So fun. And yeah, honestly, I did not know how much facial expression or even like a dynamic act out he includes in his normal set, but a lot of his movement act out was obviously so fun. And oh, this is very side note that I that was a little bit shocked, but when it was at the Rosemont Theater, and I all the past comedians show, I never had to turn in my phone. Apparently, that's pretty common. But that was my first time. I actually put my phones and everything in like a bag that you can not really unlock during the show. And also, when I bought the just a Coke, the bottle of Coke at the theater, they took off the cap and they didn't let us have it, but because apparently people throw the cap to the comedian at Dave shows, so they didn't allow anyone to have a cap. So when they sell those bottle of whatever liquid, they take off the cap and you had to just kind of have to hold it without a cap all the time. So I thought that was a pretty extreme, but apparently that happened. So yeah. Um, so I think there was so much thing that I was able to learn as a comedian. And so a couple of takeaways. So one is I think it's really important to have my personal belief or opinion that inserted in my joke, because now I think about it, it really makes sense. Like people, when you think about how people become fan of somebody else, of course there is a factor where a lot of comedians become fan because they're obviously funny and they laugh at their joke. But at the same time, to have like really core fan, they and also like if I think about it, those core fan like comedian or person because they resonate, because they really agree with what comedian are saying more than how they think those comedians are funny. So I think that's very important factor where like I think I should say in different way where one of the biggest distinction as a comedian I can make against other comedians is how I have my personal opinion, how I express them, what kind of perspective I have on things. Because every comedians are funny in their own way. So for one person to become fan of me but not others are probably based on my belief or my character or who I am as a person rather than how funny I am compared to other people. So I think that's very important to show my personal opinion on stuff and how I feel, how I think about it. So that's one thing I thought is very important from watching Dave's show. And yeah, because this is very random, but I remember when Dave started talking about P. Diddy's joke, I was just genuinely interested in what he has to say about that entire thing because everyone know that he has so much connection, so much friends group that is involved in that P. Diddy entire incident, right? So I think that was kind of easy example where I can tell like I'm just genuinely interested. Honestly, if it's just on random podcasts, I would definitely just listen to him, you know. And of course, it was a comedy show, so he made the entire thing as a joke, and he made it so funny. But we're just genuinely interested in what he has to say. And there was a bit where he was talking about mass shooting, how he thought about it, how he felt about it, and he made a comparison to the mass shooting result to kind of Gaza and US government relationship, which was pretty brilliant. And a lot of actually my friend was saying like, oh, that was very true, and he really agreed with him. So having those like true opinion and my own perspective, my own lenses is what attract people and what build up my character and brand. So that's very important. And also, speaking of like a tempo and change of rhythm, I was talking about earlier, this is a bit of more future thing, I would say, because right now I'm so amateur. I only get like 3, 5 minutes, rarely get 8 minutes. So the longer set I start to do, like 10 minute, 20 minute, 30 minutes, I really need to start thinking about how I change my rhythm, how I can keep entertaining people with change of pace. So that's one thing I'll definitely be keeping in my mind going forward. And lastly, is all the facial expression, all the act out that he had. I don't know how much I can improve in that skill set, but that's definitely the area I'll be exploring going forward. Because oh boy, that was great. So yeah, I think that was the overall opinion that I had and big take that I had from Dave Chappelle's showcase. I think he's having a tour all around US. I'm not entirely sure, but if you get a chance, 100%, like 120% recommend going to his show. It was such a great night.